Full day exercise tier list. What's good, everyone? Today I'm back with another video. This time around it's going to be the same idea, similar premise to the last video that I made. This is going to be a tier list of every pull day exercise. This list is not obviously exhaustive because if it was, I'd be here for hours. Now, bear in mind, this is just my opinion, and this is going off my experience in the gym. I've been going to the gym for 2 years. And this is just the opinion of someone who has bulked and cut and has trained his back a lot, I guess. That's all I can say. Okay, so starting this off, we have bent over barbell row. Now, I don't typically do these that much. I do have experience doing them, and I know that a lot of people do them as well, and I think they're a pretty beloved movement in the gym. I noticed that when I do them, I typically feel it like really well. Like I feel a really good contraction in my back, even at the lower weights. So just off the feeling of the movement, off the reputation it may have, and off the mechanics of the movement, I actually want to put it in staple just off rips. Next up, we got lat pullovers. It's like whatever this is. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I've never once in my life done these. I don't think it's necessary. Now I know that lat pullovers is, it kind of like, it develops the lats in a way that your lats have two different mechanics of motion, I guess, especially when it comes to bringing your arms downwards. The necessity of a pullover movement is severely overstated, and it's not as necessary as you think, especially not for growing your lats. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but I just don't think it's necessary. So I'm gonna put it in adequate. Yeah. Nah, you see, now we're getting into like the territory of who does this, who actually does these movements. I mean, we started off really strong, then we kind of fell off a little bit, and now we're at the point where, I mean, this looks like this is cable reverse flies, but I've never seen someone do this kind of form before. It's like Randy Orton flex. I don't even I don't even know what's going on. No, I've never seen anyone do this. I've never done this myself. Now, I do think the rear delts are a very slept-on area when it comes to training your back, especially in regards to developing a nice 3D shoulder. So I'm not going to knock you forever training your rear delts, but like this, I can't say I agree. So I'm going to put this. It's not ineffective. It's not. Is it suboptimal? I'll put it in suboptimal. All right, we got chest supported rows. Oh, I love these. I love these. These are. If I had a wife, her name might be chest supported rows. Yeah, no, this is a great movement. Feel attention extremely well. Having the gravity bring your chest towards the pad while you're resisting gravity pulling the bar, the T-bar up, feels really good, especially for your upper back muscles. But it's just as effective at building your lats if you adjust your grip low enough. So I'm gonna put this in staple. Fuck it. Next up, what? Okay, so next up we have lateral raises. Is this a pull day movement? Is this like a pull day staple? I don't think it is. I mean, usually I slide my lateral raises on my push days. If you do lateral raises on your pull days, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But like, my pull days are so intense to the point where it's like, I don't even think I have the energy to do a lateral raise. But there's nothing wrong with like the movement in and of itself. I wouldn't call it a staple in that regard though, because I wouldn't really do them on my pull days. I mean, obviously the lateral raise is incredibly important for developing a 3D shoulder and really getting your shoulders out there, but I don't do it on a pull day, so I'm gonna say it's adequate. Okay, so dumbbell row. I do like this movement. I do. I'm a really big fan of it. I used to do it a lot. The problem with this though is I think there are two problems. For one, the form when it comes to this is actually incredibly hard to master, especially for beginners. A lot of people doing this movement will inadvertently develop their biceps a little too much just because. I mean, how many times do you see it demonstrated like this, like doing this? You know what I'm saying? Instead of like bringing it down and back, right? And because so few people are used to doing that, I wouldn't say the movement is that good, like in that regard, because like you're not naturally being guided towards the path of developing your back. You're more so, if you're just going off like first impressions, if you're trying to copy someone else doing it, then you would be developing your biceps and you wouldn't get anywhere. You wouldn't even have it back. But if you know what you're doing when it comes to this lift and you're doing it right and you're not hyperextending and like destroying your shoulders, ain't nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying all those factors kind of mystifies it in my eyes. Mystifies, is that even the right word? It just makes it shittier, okay? That's all I'm gonna say. So I'm gonna put it in. I'll put it in good. Shrugs. Ooh, I love shrugs. Shrugs. My main problem with shrugs is the forearms. Like if you're doing dumbbell shrugs, right? Me on dumbbell shrugs, I go up to like 110s, 110 pound dumbbells. And at that point, it's so hard to even hold the dumbbell without a strap. And I'm not an equipped lifter. Like I don't believe in straps. Like I prefer to develop my forearm muscles. But even I can admit that, you know, my forearms can't really keep up with the load that my trapezius can handle. And as a result, it leads to like my hands like literally like not even being able to grip at the end of my lift. So that does suck, and that's one caveat to the movement. But I mean, as far as developing your traps goes, shrugs are your go-to. Like obviously, you know, your traps are like a really, really, really long muscle, like wide, long muscle that goes all the way down to like here. So this is not going to be the only thing that's developing your traps. Obviously, like your row movements are going to develop your traps as well. But as far as like giving you that like Kyriakos Grizzly look, yeah, shrugs are amazing. So I'm gonna put them in staple. Obviously, that caveat with the forearm thing is a bit of an issue, but still staple nonetheless. Next up, we got strict bicep curls against some sort of like platform. I'm just gonna assume there's like some sort of like strict curl. Great. I think you could consider any bicep movement a staple on a pull day, just because I don't think there are many bad bicep movements. It probably is like just a few out there that like people are actually unironically doing, but near the end of your pull day movement, near the end of your pull day, you're gonna want to hit your biceps, and you know, getting good varieties in that actually, you know, develop the bicep is always going to be a staple in my eyes. So I don't see anything wrong with this lift as well. So I'm gonna put it right here because I mean, there's obviously multiple heads of your bicep, and this appears to be a supinated angle, so that's gonna be working your peak primarily, which is going to be good, especially for your photos. Okay, so this is like the same thing with an easy bar. No, this is also with the easy bar. I mean, I guess with this is always in front. With this looks like a little bit like more like a drag curl, like maybe like behind. Still just as good. I'm gonna put it in staple. Maybe I'll put all of them in good. You see, like nah. You see, now we're just arguing semantics. Like, is this bad? Is this worse than these two? No, not really. And this is also behind the back, which is gonna help develop your long head. And it's going to give you a better stretch as well. So I'm going to put this in staple as well. Actually, I'm sliding them all in good. They're all just as good. None of them are like, okay, I need this one on my pull day. But like, regardless, they're all good nonetheless. Is this landmine barbell rows? I am not really a big fan of these. No, I'm not a big fan of these. I think this is landmine barbell rows. My problem with this is your physical shape is going to heavily influence how much you're able to move and how comfortable the movement feels. The tension doesn't feel right, like the motion of the tension, like because it feels more like this when you want it to be feeling like this, I guess, a bit more. And you know, this movement curve is better achieved with this than this. That's not to say this is ineffective at building your lats or your, you know, back muscles, but I guess another thing as well is if you have plates on there, if you're trying to bring it all the way up to your chest, I don't think people do, but if you're trying to bring it all the way back up to your chest, or at least close, like a plate is going to get in the way. But you do always see your short, you know, juice head with a bandana on, you know, doing these like with a thick like a spaghetti noodle bicep vein, maybe like a rigatoni noodle bicep vein doing these. But I guess if I went off that, then I probably would be saying like, this is like the best movement on earth. So I'm gonna put this in. It's good. But like the caveats prevent me from doing it myself, and it prevents it from being a staple. This is a reverse flies. I actually really like this movement on the pec deck, especially. I really like this movement. But me personally, I don't go all the way back, like way back there. For one, because I feel like that just leads to injuries, and two, at that point, I don't feel it in any of my muscles. So I really, when I do the reverse flies, I like to bring it out like about here, because that's all rear deltoid work. and that feels perfect. And it also really like it really contributed to the growth of my rear delt. And in that regard, this movement will always have a special place in my heart. Now, can I say it's a staple? Can I say it's a staple? No, I can't, because end of the day, there are so many like ways you can train your rear delt. A lot of people aren't capitalizing on, to be honest, but there's so many ways you can train your rear delt without having to do this movement specifically, that I can't really say this is a staple. But if I was to like consider this like just rear delt training in general, then I would certainly have it in staple, but I want to put it in good. No, good. Yep. I don't know what this actually is. This looks like a lat pull down, but like I'm seeing there's lat pull down here. There's lat pull down here. But this is like a different grip. This is like, I think she has her hands in this position. But then this one also has the hands in position. I don't really... I have never in my life seen someone hold a bar like this. Like this bar looks like one of those foldable lawn chairs. Okay, well, anyways, I kind of don't even want to include this. Like, what's actually going on here? Like, this woman is blowing my mind. What's going on? You know, I'm gonna skip over it for now. I'll see if I can include it later. Okay, close grip rows, not chest supported, just against the cable. Great, ain't nothing wrong with it. As a matter of fact, I'll just put it in a staple, just off rip, because it's a great movement. As I said before with this one, and I think this is a problem with a lot of row movements. People don't know how to just use their back and end up using, you know, their biceps. And that does translate over to this lift as well. But if you know what you're doing, if you take the time to learn the form with a low weight, and that memory forms just from practice, then you should have this movement in the bag. It shouldn't even be an issue. So I am going to put it in a staple, especially for off pure back growth alone. Close grip lat pull down, great movement. I think it's not as good as like this for developing your other muscles apart from your lats. But if we're talking about pure lat development and thickness, and maybe a little bit of width as well, I think this is a staple. Do this at your leisure. Like, do it if you want. Like, the thing with pull days, right, is a lot of movements are very interchangeable. So I don't think there's a perfect pull day out there. There's just, you know, what works best for you. With push day, I think it's a little different. I feel like you can really optimize your push day to approach, you know, perfect territory. But with pull day, I mean, you just want to hit it as best you can because there's so many muscles back there. Next up, we got preacher curls. I love these personally. I'm a big fan. Is this preacher curls? I think it is. I love this movement. It's a great movement. I've seen too many scary videos of people getting their whole biceps split off doing this, which is a little crazy, but so long as you're not being an idiot, you should be good with this movement. And this movement does provide a crazy stimulus to your biceps. You can easily get a nice pump off of this as well. So yeah, I'm gonna put it in good as well, but I love this movement. It's really near and dear to my heart. All right, next up we got okay, I think next up, I don't think there's a name for this lift. I think this lift is just called the... I don't know what's being worked out when Kyriakos Grizzly does this. I can just only assume that it's the traps, which I can't tell if that makes this impressive or rather confusing. But just because this is Kyriakos Grizzly himself, just because the god himself, Kyriakos Grizzly, is in this picture, whatever he may be doing is just automatically the best, so I'm going to put it up there. There's no room for discussion. I'm sorry. He's just better. He trains for the difficult. Do you train for the difficult? Or are you training for the easy? What is this? Is this barbell shrugs? Is this farmer's walk? There's no movement. Like, this could be the exact same thing as this. Maybe this is deadlifts. Is this deadlifts? I've always been a little confused when it comes to standard deadlifts, because I feel like standard deadlifts are a great movement for your legs and your back. And yeah, I can't tell if it belongs in a leg day or a pull day. I'm counting this as deadlifts. Just so we're clear, okay? I'm gonna count this as deadlifts. Deadlift is a ubiquitous exercise. It's obviously great for developing a lot of your muscles and for developing strength, for showcasing strength as well. But I'm making this tier list from mostly like a hypertrophic standpoint. And I don't think deadlift really has as many benefits as a lot of these movements when it comes to actually developing your muscles, from a pure like growth standpoint. Does that make it a bad lift? No. Is it still one of the GOATs? Yes. But on a pull day, I don't think it belongs. And as well, as I said, from a hypertrophic standpoint, I'm not gonna say it's better than lat pull downs, or it's even on the same footing as lat pull downs, but it's still good. So I'm gonna put this in good. Next up we got, is this barbell shrugs? Assuming this is barbell shrugs, I don't do these personally. I think the way you have your hands out here, or whatever you have it to like make it comfortable, it feels weird. Having your hands in this position instead of this position when you're shrugging also feels weird. Does that make it bad? No. But it's certainly not one that I would do myself. So I'm gonna put this in adequate. At the end of the day, it's still growing your traps. Next up, we got wide grip rows. I actually love these. I do love these because I think I mentioned this in a previous video. I feel like when you do pull days, everyone's only concerned about their lats. Like, oh, my lats need to be thick. My lats need to be wide. I need to have a back wide enough to parasail on. I get it. Lats are obviously a very aesthetic muscle and they look amazing. When I get complimented on my lats, I'm blushing and kicking my feet up like a white girl. Your upper back muscles, all those little muscles like around here, all that stuff need a lot of work to develop a really hulking aesthetic physique. And I feel like this movement really develops those muscles. So I am going to put it up in staple because I think you need some sort of row variety that's going to work your upper back more as opposed to your lower back and your lats. And here we have the traditional lat pull down. Now, Dr. Jeff Nippard once said that according to some sort of literature, this is like the best lat building exercise. I don't know if that's true. I mean, the study could be invalidated. I don't know, because from what I can tell, this feels just as good at building my lats as this. But this also does have the benefit of developing other back muscles, which of course is going to give you a wider back than this will. I'll admit that right now. Now, granted, this movement has always felt weird, and it's a bit of an NPC movement, only because when a gym beginner says, "I'm training my back today," what do you think? You think of someone doing lat pull down with only their biceps, bringing it all the way down here. And so I feel like like a veteran membership for pull days is not doing this movement. But I've done this movement recently and it actually feels bloody lovely. So I'm going to put it, of course, in staple. I don't think I can give it anything other than staple. I mean, it just belongs there. Yeah, it does feel good. Now, one pointer I would give to anyone who wants to do, this movement. Everyone makes this mistake. Why are you bringing your arms out here? Don't bring your arms out too far. You're not Randy Orton. You're not Ziz. Okay? Little bit closer. Maybe just past shoulder width. And that's when you feel it. You actually feel like you feel like an angel flapping your wings when you're doing lat pull downs. Just like 1.5 times your shoulder width. Hell, if you really want to, do it here. But both of those options will be better than doing it out here, because that's just purely biceps and that doesn't even feel right. Okay, but we still have this one. I still don't know what this is. Is this reverse grip? I mean, reverse grip isn't bad. It's also lats and biceps. I don't think I've ever done reverse grip before on my lat pull downs. Just never felt a need to. But it's a lat pull down movement, so there's nothing wrong with it. I'm gonna put it in staple as well. Pull day is very important, fellas. I know we always want to just hit chest and abs, and because we're always seeing people from the front and not really from the back. But a big part of developing your aesthetics as a guy is training your back, because your back will it'll emulate the effect of having a V taper, even if you don't have a good V taper. Much better than training your chest, or only your chest and shoulders will, because the way an aesthetic V taper looks is it's waist to shoulder, and you want to see the transition from that. And you're going to have no transition if you don't train your back. It's just going to be like this, and then shoulders out here. But if you train your back, it's like this, which looks way more sleek and aesthetic. don't listen to someone who just tells you to train only your chest and only your legs. I'll give that advice, especially to the ladies, because your body's aesthetics are a product of cumulative effort and not wanting to train every part of your body just because, you know, you're lazy or because you think you'll look big or because you think it's unnecessary is just stupid. If you want to train only for aesthetics, which means you don't even do certain days or you don't even do certain movements, I strongly recommend you reassess your gym knowledge as well, because wherever you got your info from, whether it was some sort of red pill YouTuber or something like that, please understand that like just training your shoulders, traps, and chest is like incredibly stupid. Anyways, that was the list. That was a video. If you did enjoy, please leave a like, subscribe, and drop a comment what you thought. Obviously, at the end of the day, this is just my opinion. So if you disagree, go ahead and leave a comment, and I'll try to get to it and let you know what I think as well. But yeah, see ya.